Speech number two. Our speech number two is coming from Hess. He is the current VP of Education and our former president. He's been a member for about 2.5 years. He's going to bring us a story from the Advanced Communicator Series Storytelling Manual. Speech number two. It's an 8 to 10 minute speech. His objectives are to create and tell an original story based on his personal experience, use vivid descriptions that bring the story to life, and strive for images so real everyone can see them. Please welcome Hess Smith for the storytelling.
When I was 13, my family moved from the small town of Gales Ferry, Connecticut on the eastern bank of the Thames River to the much larger industrial city of Portsmouth, Virginia. My father's nuclear submarine was scheduled for dry dock retrofit at the Naval Shipyard in Portsmouth, so we had to relocate. My new home was quite a departure from the quiet and bucolic existence of life in New England to what seemed like the hustle and bustle of a big city. However, I would soon come to appreciate that my new residence was like a virtual Disneyland for troublemakers. And in my youth, I had built what I considered to be a solid foundation for the makings of an exceptional juvenile delinquent. We lived on the shipyard in the officers' quarters, on the edge of a large grass park. There was a nearby recreation center with tennis courts and a big swimming pool. My house was a huge 3-story colonial that had actually been converted into a duplex. And I had my own bedroom on the top floor. And my best buddy Mike lived on the other half of the duplex with his family. Mike's room was also on the top floor. And directly on the opposite side of the wall from mine. And from his bathroom, you could actually climb out the window, down the rooftops, across the top of the patio, and make your way to the ground below. A very desirable and advantageous feature for young miscreants like Mike and me. So it was not long before we had cut a small door in the wooden wall separating our rooms that we hid behind a dresser cabinet. The door allowed us both to come and go as we pleased, unbeknownst to our parents. I hardly ever used the front door of my house. I would just appear out of nowhere. Poof, like magic. My parents could never figure out where the hell I came from. The shipyard was like its own separate world, with its own grocery store, movie theater, and hospital, and its own police force. The MPs, the military police. All the kids that lived on the shipyard were military brats, Navy kids, and we all sort of formed a gang, a motley crew of scoundrels whose primary goal was to find any form of entertainment that would preferably raise the ire of the military police. Yes, the true source of our amusement was to engage in any folly that would infuriate the MPs who patrolled the base in their never-ending quest to find lawbreakers and wrongdoers and ne'er-do-wells. All high classifications to which each and every member of our gang greatly aspired. We especially wanted to be ne'er-do-wells. On summer nights, we would roam the back alleys of the shipyard looking for trouble. We would climb the tall water tower and shoot bottle rockets down at the MPs as they drove by in their pickup trucks. We would sneak into the warehouse down by the docks and play bumper cars with the forklifts. Sometimes we would just loiter in the grass park. And when the MPs would drive by in careful surveillance of the scene, we would just go like this and then take off running. We hadn't actually committed any offense. We just wanted to get chased. And the MPs would always oblige us, launching immediately into hot pursuit. But alas, they were never able to catch us because they were old and they were slow. It was very sad. One of our favorite nighttime activities was to break into the swimming pool to battle the Loch Ness monster. I will not soon forget the first time we encountered that horrific beast. We were engaged in our regular shenanigan of running across the rooftop of the adjacent building and jumping over the lifeguard stand and into the pool below. when one of our gang managed to find his way into the maintenance shed. There he discovered the long fire hose that they used to fill the pool. So naturally, we threw it in and then turned on the flow of water from the hydrant. The result, I assure you, was astonishing. The long black snake came alive, slithering its way through the entire pool, whipping back and forth ferociously, powered by the violent force of water gushing from its open mouth. Confronted with this spectacle, we decided to ride it. I launched into the dark water and grabbed the end of the fire hose as it rushed by. Jerked forward by an overpowering force, I was propelled through the depths at a mind-boggling speed. I held on desperately as the monster dragged me through the pool, my face stretched back like a skydiver in water. The ride was exhilarating and ended only when I was forced to relinquish the beast and rise to the surface for air. It was very cool. Although I did learn one lesson on that inaugural ride. When you're facing the Loch Ness Monster, you must always secure your bathing trunks tightly. Because I had lost mine somewhere in the dark depths of that vast pool, never to be found again. And there I stood, absolutely buck naked. I managed to find an old towel in the shed that provided me adequate coverage for our walk back home. And on the way back, we decided to pick up some candy from the vending machine. Some free candy, I should mention. You see, we had discovered a way to use a long, thin metal rod and a paper clip to pilfer free goods from the machine. Using our device, we would reach up under the bottom door and push the end of the spiral contraption holding the candy in place. This slight force would engage the rotating mechanism, and our ill-gotten gains would just drop out below. Voila, free candy. As we proceeded to work our nefarious act that evening, suddenly, the trap was sprung. From out of the darkness, the MPs converged on us from all directions. We immediately scattered like cockroaches when the lights turn on. As I was adorned in only a small towel, the garment was quickly lost, and I found myself hurtling amongst my fellow reprobates at breakneck pace, completely nude. Everyone escaped but me. The MPs seemed to single me out. Perhaps because I was the only naked one. It was very sad. I next found myself in a holding room down at the police station. By then I was half clothed in some sweatpants the MPs had provided me. My father entered the room with an MP in tow. Apparently, he had already been briefed on the charges of petty theft and streaking. He glared at me, those familiar eyes squinting in contemptuous disdain, smoking that ever-present cigar. "Why were you naked?" he barked. "Well, I lost my shorts riding the Loch Ness Monster." "Why were you stealing candy?" "Well, you see, we wanted some Skittles, and I didn't have any money, because my money was in my shorts, and, I lost them riding the Loch Ness Monster." We left the station soon thereafter, my father muttering continuously under his breath, "Degenerate, hippie, criminal." I was sentenced to solitary confinement in my tower room for 2 whole weeks, grounded in the middle of the summer when all my friends were out having fun, reveling in our shipyard Disneyland. Oh, the humanity, the despair. It was all very sad. Although what my dad failed to realize is that I had an escape hatch hidden behind the dresser cabinet in my room. Thank you.